Hey guys, Chili here. Time for another channel update. Let's jump right into it, Philip DeFranco style. Future of the series. So I launched the Fartanoid, the game project, and that actually ended up being a 3-parter with homework solutions. So kind of long, and I'm really happy with what I came up with there. But I'm sad that the views have been kind of low. I don't know. Maybe people are kind of soured by the whole SNEC thing, and they just decided to give Fartanoid a pass, or I don't know. Maybe it's just normal dropping out of people. But I haven't seen any real spike in unsubs, so I don't know what's going on. Who knows? All I can do is keep doing my thing, and I released the 2D array tutorial. And that's another humdinger. It's pretty easy, actually. Short video, doing 2D arrays and a little bit of circular dependency stuff with for declaration. Homework for that is going to be, the solution is going to be coming out soon. Next up, we got enumerations and switches, which will basically, it goes very nicely with what I did in the 2D array. It knocks something down that I set up in 21. So we got enumerations and switches, and that's coming soon. I just recorded it, and I haven't done the homework solution video yet, but so I gotta edit that up, and that's coming out. And then we've got another game project, Meme Sweeper, Minesweeper clone. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be simple, but it's gonna be a good way of using the 2D array bullshit that I've taught here. And it'll also set things up for me to talk about recursion, which is an important concept in just programming in general. And it's very important if you want to get into things like AI or search, stuff like sorting or pathfinding. That's all recursion bullshits in there. So we'll do recursion and then we'll be done. That will be the end of beginner. And we'll be starting on our journey into intermediate, which is just, a bullshit random label that I chose to slap down in the middle of the tutorial. It's a little bit of a transition, but kind of makes sense because in intermediate, we're going to jump into pointers, which are, a source of a lot of anxiety and boogeyman stories for programmers. But you'll see pointers are not super hard to understand. And they are useful in certain situations. I'll get into it. Don't just wait. Chili gonna do you good, and then we're gonna be doing strings because those work very nicely with pointers, and it'll help me hammer home the concepts of pointers. And we'll get into file access, dynamic memory allocation, all that good stuff. And then down here is where we're gonna start getting really into the standard library with the containers, strings, streams. Then we're going to bring out the almighty vector, which is just the holy grail of containers. And once we get all this stuff under our belts, the stage will be perfectly set for us to finally be able to load bitmaps from files and draw some goddamn sprites. And more standard library bullshits, unique pointer, which some people would probably prefer I taught up here when I teach dynamic memory allocation. But I want to save unique pointer for here because it's going to tie in really well. It's going to make the flow of the tutorials, the information, it's going to be all good. Trust me, I know what I'm doing. And then, of course, after we're able to draw sprites, we'll also be able to draw text, with just a little bit of extra concepts added. And that is going to, obviously open up the scope of what we can do in our videos a lot more than just, massive put pixel functions. So there you've got a rough roadmap for the future here, and this stuff is pretty much all set in stone. Between the end of beginner and the beginning of intermediate, I believe Microsoft might be releasing Visual Studio 2017, the final release. So I'll have to look into that, and it's very likely that I will start intermediate with 2017, and I'm also gonna have to go back to all of the beginner stuff and maybe create versions of the source code downloads and the Git repositories that are gonna load nicely into 2017. I haven't looked into it yet, but I've heard reports that the project solutions, they might need a little massaging, and I don't want the beginner to have to do any massaging. I want them to just be able to load it and it works. So I might have to get into that. I've been talking about this before, but I'm also thinking about redoing tutorial 4 of beginner because a lot of people are dropping out of that one, and honestly it could have some improvements done to it. And maybe SNEC, because SNEC is a big problem for a lot of people. and some others. The problem with that is the tutorials build on each other. They're all linked together. So I can't just change one freely. I've got to make sure that what I come out with at the end of a tutorial is the same, because it's going to be used in the other tutorials that come after it, which are already existing. So I don't have a lot of flexibility there, but I'll come up with something. You may have noticed 3D Fundamentals also came out, and there was a little bit of a gap between 4 and 5, but I've got some shit already coded up for 6 and 7, so they'll be coming out a little more frequently than they have over the last month or so. Patreon has also seen some nice growth in the last couple of weeks, and I might be coming close to hitting the first goal. And when that happens, we're going to get, kind of a referendum going, and I'll see what you guys on the Patreon actually want me to create. And so it'll probably be new content coming out for the Patreon if the growth continues. That's something to look forward to. And also, I'm planning on getting out some more Unreal stuff. I did release another assembly video on the Patreon, so you can check that out if that's something you're interested in. I'm also thinking of dabbling with some SFML on camera, and maybe, throwing that on the main channel just for people to look at. Not really a tutorial, more of just me messing around, but I'll go over how to set it up so you guys can mess around with it too. And that actually ties into something that's been going on in the forum in the past couple of weeks. Check this out. So a dude by the name of Yumtired here, he started kind of a blog on the forum where he's just, chronicling his journey through the tutorials and C++ and all the programming stuff. As you can see here, there's like a ton of content here. And I recommend you guys, if you're new, you can check this out. You can see how someone else is approaching the problem, because I think he's got the right idea here, how he's going about things, how he's pacing himself. And I don't know, it's a good model to follow. It's interesting shit. It's interesting for me, for sure. So check that out. Noob learns to code in 3 months. There's another one here, a guy by the name of Navarra here on the forum. He's been doing a vlog on YouTube, just basically giving his thoughts at the end of every video. But he's kind of stalled out on that, so I'm not sure if that's going to go anywhere. But it might be interesting to check out. He might continue on with it. I don't know. And one more awesome thing is a dude by the name of Warrior Mario. He started a series of tutorials for ray tracing. So if you're interested in 3D stuff, you might be interested in his stuff here. He does a pretty damn good job with the visuals of explaining what's going on in the math. So you can check out his ray tracing video here. He's got one up right now, and it's based on the framework. So the code that you download will be a little easier to follow if you've been following the tutorials. But no, I'm super happy now, because when I started the reboot series of the beginner, I expected a lot of people to be flooding into the forums, but it wasn't the case really. For the first part, there wasn't that much new activity. So recently, there's been a lot of people joining, a lot of good content on the forum, and I'm happy. It's awesome. All right, here's the current project that Yumtard is working on. Let's check this out here. So I haven't seen the most recent version yet. Let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, so we got shit. I'm assuming we got to avoid these guys. Oh, shit. Nice. So now you can destroy. Before, when I checked it out, you couldn't destroy these things. Oh, what the fuck is this? Wow, it's got like a fucking black hole. I wonder if you can get sucked into it. No. Oh, it's a heart. Fuck, sweet. Nice. He's even got like a thruster animation there. And then, oh, fuck. Okay. Well, what happens if I hit the black hole? Nothing? I guess there's nothing. It hasn't been implemented yet. It's just the graphic right now. But yeah, this is what it is. It's got a nice, it's got a lot of sweet shit in there. He's worked quite a bit on this one, and it shows. All right, let's see what else we got here. All right, here's something a member by the name of Maggot number 9 created. He created this basically, I guess, after tutorial 6, so it's pretty early in the series, and it's pretty awesome actually. Like, it's the cursor. It accelerates. It's hard to control, but now you've got to like get it to these different squares, and if you don't do it by the time that meter hits the maximum, then you lose. But I don't know, it's interesting. It's a fun little thing that takes the ideas that we've done in the series and makes a kind of game out of it, which is no small feat, because it's easy to say, oh, I want to make a beat 'em up, I want to make a fighter game, I want to make this and that. But those things require so many different skills and tools. But to take the small amount of tools that you have and create something interesting with it, that's a bit of an art in itself. All right, here's one from a dude by the name of George FF. And again, it's called Space Try. It's another space deal here. You're moving around. I don't understand all of it, but he's got the scrolling star field going here. He's got the drawing of the thing. He's doing it all with shapes, so he's not using sprites or anything. So it's quite impressive. It's a nice little demo he's got done here. I don't know what tutorial he finished when he did this, but nice effect. Very well done. George FF. An active user by the name of Battlefrog here is starting his own game here, Assault Cube. So I'm not sure exactly what this is going to be, but apparently touching the walls is bad. Except for this wall, I can go through this one, but can't touch that. Can go through here. I don't know exactly. I think it's going to be like one of those maneuver maze kind of deals. It's freaking hard, but it shows potential, and I can't wait to see what he does with it. Legacy, one of our newest board members, just posted his solution to tutorial 3, and it's quite nice. You got the reticle here. It's moving around. You press shift to change its color. You press control, and what the fuck is this bullshit? Blah. It's I guess it's me, and it's pretty fucking sweet. I had a laugh. I had a gaff. It was a goof. It was all good. Super elite veteran board member Mr. Godin posted this dumb little thing here that it's pretty cool. A little demo of snow here, and it inspired me to create a little demo of my own that I'll show you in a second. He also posted this thing that shows what you can do with a little simple physics math. I don't know. It's pretty awesome. I like it a lot. I did something similar myself back in the day, but I won't get into that. This is really cool. Just uses the same framework that I'm using for the 3D fundamentals. And we'll eventually get into that shit in the beginner series as well. But there's some neat physics bullshit. Yours truly hasn't been laying down on the job either. I mean, I've been working on the tutorials and the tutorial games and shit. But I've also been playing around with some of my own shit. So this was actually inspired by what Mr. Godin made. It's a simulation, a little bit of a sand simulation. I call it Sandy Vag. I don't know, it's cool. I got the source up on my GitHub if you're interested. It's pretty simple, but it does an interesting effect. That's mostly what all particle systems are. Very simple rules, but when you put a bunch of them together, they look kind of cool. One last thing, on the Discord, I added a new channel called Code Snippets, and I'll probably just post here random C++ code things that I think are cool, small little snippets of code, and you can check that out if you're interested from time to time. But I think that's enough dumb bullshit for one video here. Thank you guys for all your support and all the good shits, and I will see you soon with some more C++.